So think about your favorite superhero and anti-hero duos. Cap and Bucky, Thor and Loki, Professor X and Magneto. There's a lot of good ones to pick from, but I'm assuming that Wonder Woman and Cheetah probably weren't on your list. So let me explain how they could have been. So in Wonder Woman 1984, we had two villains, Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord and Kristen Wiig's Barbara Minerva, aka Cheetah. Most people have been praising Maxwell Lord as the standout villain here and think that Cheetah didn't even need to be in this movie. In fact, people are saying that the only reason she's in it was so that Wonder Woman could have someone to physically fight with in the final act. It also didn't help that her character was this cliche, cartoonish nerd that reminded people a lot of an incredibly similar character that also didn't work in a recent comic book movie. And for those reasons, I think that makes sense. After she makes her wish on the Dreamstone, for a lot of the movie, Cheetah is basically pushed into the background of the main narrative. She spends her time slowly discovering her powers, and in the end, the change she makes towards physically becoming a cheetah felt really random and rushed. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor are the ones in the forefront actually going around trying to stop Max Lord. So as a result, when Wonder Woman and Cheetah fight at the end of the movie, you don't really feel anything, mainly because they didn't really have any personal scenes together other than the first time they hung out at the start of the film. On the other hand, the final confrontation between Diana and Max was more memorable because the two had been at odds during most of the film, and Max's actions actually affect Diana emotionally, with her having to sacrifice Steve to get her powers back. With that being said, I think this movie could have been great if Cheetah was the heart of the story. More specifically, I think that Diana and Barbara should have been the main duo on this adventure. Steve is great and all, but we've already seen him and Diana work together in the last movie. And Wonder Woman 84 just rehashes the same emotional beat, that being Diana's struggle of having to lose Steve. Having Diana team up with Barbara would make this sequel feel more fresh and give Kristen Wiig's character more time to connect with the audience to make her eventual turn to evil feel more devastating. At the start of the movie, Barbara and Diana could already be best friends. Maybe instead of having a pointless flashback as the opening scene, we could get a glimpse at the first time the two met, while the rest of the movie shows us how close their friendship has grown over time. With enough fun character moments, as viewers we would grow to like Barbara a lot, and because Diana is shown to be very lonely after losing Steve in the first movie, we would feel like Barbara is Diana's main source of happiness, and that losing her would be pretty damn bad for Diana emotionally. On the flip side of that, Barbara could still have some jealousy towards Diana, like in the actual movie. It would be subtle, but still noticeable. As a more nerdy, introverted person, it makes sense as to why she would be envious of Diana's more confident personality. But as a side note, I feel like they should have also made her a more realistically nerdy and shy character, so that she could feel more relatable. The version we got in the movie was a little too over the top, which is why I don't think people cared for her that much. She acted more like a superficial movie character than a real person, if you know what I mean. But anyway, since she's co-workers with Diana, it makes even more sense for her to have a stake in this adventure. She could already know about Diana's powers or maybe even be surprised when she sees them for the first time, but the main point is that during the early parts of the adventure, she could feel useless when watching Wonder Woman do most of the superheroic action stuff, and because she's jealous of Diana's entire persona, this could push her over the edge and cause her to make a wish on the Dreamstone halfway through the movie to, as they put it in the film, be like Diana. The actual movie had the same idea, but instead of really fleshing out her character, they kind of rushed her into making the wish as early as possible to give Steve and Wonder Woman more screen time. At this point, in my version, since we've had all this build up for her character and her relationship with Diana, we would be rooting for her as now both of our main characters have superpowers and have an even better chance at stopping Max Lord together. And again, like in the movie, since the Dreamstone has the effect of taking away something for the person's wish, Barbara would gradually lose her caring personality and become the villain we know as Cheetah. Making her a more integral part of the journey like Steve was would allow us to see her personality naturally change over time. It would be way better than having the movie constantly flash back to her doing things to show that she's changed, like how she lifted weights to show that she gained super strength, or changed her clothes to show that she has more confidence. That stuff should be in the subtext of her interactions with Diana. As a result, once Barbara completely loses her way like in the movie, the ending fight between Wonder Woman and Cheetah would emotionally emotionally mean more to us because we're seeing two formerly best friends basically fight to the death. Think back to Spider-Man 3 when Harry and Peter had that bare-knuckle fight in the Osborn mansion, or when Captain America fought Bucky at the end of Winter Soldier. These were more powerful emotional scenes because of how much more development was given to those characters' relationships. In both scenarios, we know how much the protagonist cares about their respective friend because we've seen their friendship at their highest points. In Wonder Woman 84 though, we don't really care how badly Barbara gets hurt at the end of the fight. We basically just want Wonder Woman to win. That's why I think Cheetah should have gotten more of the spotlight here, to reproduce the same character dynamic that we've seen work in other superhero films. And that's something I hope DC improves on moving forward, because I've noticed that there are a lot of relationships that their movies think should be important to us, but are just not. You can even look at the Marvel films. Even though some of their movies aren't the best story-wise, it's their character relationships that continuously bring us back to watch their next adventure together. If you saw the movie, comment below what you thought about it, and lastly, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.